Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of my book reviews. And if you're new to the channel, thank you so much again for stopping by. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Share with your friends if you find these helpful. So today I want to talk about a book that took me 5 years, I think it's been 5 years, to read. And that is Kurt Vonnegut, Breakfast of Champions. Please help me understand. Um, yeah, book's about Kilgore Trout, a science fiction author, and Dwayne Hoover, a car salesman. Dwayne Hoover is not quite right in the head, and he eventually takes Kilgore Trout's writings seriously and acts on them. That doesn't happen till the very end of the book. Is that a spoiler? No. That's right there on the back of the book. Plot? Not much. And I know that's a Kurt Vonnegut thing. I know that he is primarily satire, and I get that. I've heard some people tell me this isn't a great book of Vonnegut's to start with. There's other books that are better to start with. If you are a Kurt Vonnegut fan, please tell me below what those books would be because, okay, I got it. A lot of times say, well, you just don't get Vonnegut. I got it. It's satire. He hits everything. Religion, politics, war, capitalism. I don't think there's a topic he doesn't take a stab at in this book. That being said, not for me. Really, not for me. I appreciated his humor. Most of the book, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this was my takeaway from the book, is you are just following Kilgore Trout, Dwayne Hoover, just in daily life leading up to their eventual meeting when they meet at an arts festival. And he keeps alluding to the fact that they're going to meet. He tells you that right off the bat. And it's the journey towards that art festival where along the way he just takes stabs at all those different topics in a variety of different ways. Sometimes humorous, sometimes just a little over the line, sometimes gets a little too inappropriate for my personal taste. And I know that Vonnegut is one of those polarizing authors. Uh, People are passionately following his works, are devoted to his works. So I get it. He might be one of those authors either you love or hate. Again, I got the satire aspect of it, but it just wasn't for me. Some of the comments in there, and even just the um, how do I describe it? Just some of the human body parts that get described, that just got really old. It just seemed to come up out of nowhere at times whenever he introduces a character or references a character. I appreciated the satirical jabs at several different topics. Um, but yeah, for me, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but there wasn't really a plot to this book. This was again, for me, it felt like Vonnegut wanted to take some stabs at a lot of different issues, and it happened to be in the course of following Kilgore Trout and Dwayne Hoover on just their boring day-to-day lives. And then finally you get the climax where they cross paths at an arts festival and things go haywire. So I think I gave this 1 star on Goodreads. I get it. I appreciate it. I might come back to it. Maybe in a few years, I'll revisit it and see if it hits differently. But again, it took me 5 years to read, almost DNF'd it several times. The only reason I stayed with it, I wanted to go back. I wanted to look at what was the best-selling book when I was born, and it was this. That was the only reason I picked it up. I had no other motivation. And yeah, I would read some, set it down, A few months later, read a little bit more. Set it down. Several months later, read some more. Didn't really enjoy it. There were a couple scenes that were good. By and large, it wasn't my thing. And again, if there's something I'm missing in this, feel free. If you are a fan of this book or a fan of Vonnegut's, what is it you like most about this book in particular? If there's a different book that would be better for someone who's never read Vonnegut before, other than this, let me know. I'd be more than happy to check it out. But let me know your thoughts. For me, it was just a big swing and a miss. Didn't hit me at all. I know for others it speaks right to them, and I applaud that and support that. For me, it was just a big miss. Not like book number 2, Later, by Stephen King. This was good. I've heard mixed reviews about this book. Some people seem to love it, some people seem to hate it, and that might generally be true for a lot of Stephen King. This is clearly one of his shorter books, 240-ish pages or so. So, Later, by Stephen King, his newer book. What is this about? It's about Jamie Conklin, this young guy here, and it's written in the first person. So it's Jamie Conklin telling you his life story. And he begins, I think the first scene with him is he's 5 years old, recounting something that happened when he was 5. And then just these little moments throughout his life up until I think he's retelling this at he's age 22 when he's telling you this story. So Jamie lives with his single mom, and for a while at least, this character here is his mother's significant other, and we go into their relationship and some of the complexities in their relationship. The significant other is a detective, and that plays a significant role. Now, this is considered a hard case crime, his third hard case crime story. Um, yes and no. Yes, in that he does work with a detective, but it's not necessarily like they're trying to solve a crime together. There is one primary uh, crime that they're trying to prevent that takes place primarily in the middle of the book. But this deals more with Jamie's ability. And Jamie's ability is he can see dead people. And the rules of that are spelled out pretty well in that typically he can only see a dead person for up to a week after they pass away, sometimes only days, and then that person begins to fade. There is one exception to that rule and becomes the primary antagonist throughout the story and gets more. I don't want to give too much away in terms of that. So we have these moments where Jamie is able to see dead people, and it's addressed in the book that it's not like that Bruce Willis movie, and it really isn't. I know some people have criticized this book, saying it's just a rip off of I see dead people and that, and I get that, but on the other hand, isn't Stephen King the one who really uh, took that first with The Shining? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There are hints in here that what Jamie has is The Shining. Not necessarily to the extent that Danny Torrance of The Shining and Doctor Sleep has it, but still that same type of ability. And so, with that, obviously, he's able to interact with dead people and find out what happened to them, why they died, and so forth and so on. But the for me, again, one of the things I love about Stephen King is his ability to write characters. And this is really the story of Jamie and his relationship with his mom, his relationship with his mom's ex significant other, and kind of the issues that they deal with, and some of the complexities of that relationship. And specifically, Jamie trying to come to grips with his ability to see dead people and the fact that his mother doesn't like that he can do this. She worries about him, and so he tries to keep that a secret. And there's one scene in terms of as we talk character development, there's one scene towards the end that kind of just adds more dimensions to just some of the issues that Jamie's dealing with. That it's kind of like, okay, we went there. Um, I'll leave that for you to discover, but it's like probably didn't have to go there. He did, and it is what it is. The story could have been perfectly fine without it. Um, but yeah, he went there. Anyway, it's really a character story, not so much a detective or a crime novel. It's really just a character story of tracing Jamie and as he grows up, in a sense, a coming of age story, having this ability and how he copes with it, how he deals with it, how he uses it, how he doesn't use it, and particularly for the main protagonist who kind of likes to torment him and how he deals with that and his altercation with the dead protagonist. There's a tie-in to another Stephen King story that's pretty significant. Some people kind of downplay the connection. I thought it was pretty neat how he tied this to an existing storyline that he has, and leaves it where I really hope he writes a sequel to this. I think there's a lot more to Jamie's story to be told. The main protagonist is still out there, so spoiler warning, I guess. Sorry. Um, the main protagonist is still out there. There's more to be told with Jamie, I think. Again, at the time of Jamie telling you this story, he's 22. So I feel like there's a lot more ground to go and a lot more that could be said with Jamie. So I really hope this isn't just a one off with Jamie. I hope there's more to come in terms of his character. So if you are looking for at this, hoping for your typical Stephen King horror thriller, that's not what you're going to find here. If you're looking at this hoping for and again, I haven't read the other two hard crime stories by Stephen King yet. If you're looking for a kind of a haunted detective story, it's not really what you're going to find here. It's really the story of Jamie, his mother, and his mother's ex significant other, and the dynamics and some of the uh, very significant complexities that develop in the relationship between the three. So I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end. It's again a fairly quick read, an easy read. I think I read this in 3 days. You probably could read it in one sitting. Really enjoyed it. Nothing deep or profound, but again, as Stephen King does so well, looks at human characters with a lot of their hang-ups, with a lot of their issues, and coping with those issues and coming to grips with those issues. And so in that vein, highly enjoyed it, very much recommend it. Again, you'll find a lot of mixed reviews out there, and I can understand why some may not enjoy this. It's not the plot really revolves around Jamie as a person, not in Jamie trying to solve crimes, but in him as a person, his development as a person, and his relationships with others. So, if that doesn't sound intriguing at all to you, you probably won't enjoy this. If it does sound intriguing, if you're a big Stephen King fan, I'm sure you'll love it. If you're not a fan or kind of on the fence with him, you probably won't enjoy it so much, or maybe it's so different that you might. I don't know. Give it a shot. If you've read it, let me know what you thought. I would happy to hear your thoughts on it, whether you liked it, hated it, somewhere in between. Um, yeah, what would you like? What didn't you like? I would love to carry on the conversation with you down below in the comments. But anyway, one book that was a big swing and miss for me, one that really was a good solid hit for me in Later by Stephen King. So yeah, I feel like I'm becoming that guy who just loves everything Stephen King writes. I'm sure I'll come across one that is a miss for me. Just haven't done it yet. Um, but I'm sure that day will come. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next time with the next review. Take care.